Hi guys, I'm back. Hope this video finds you guys well. I decided I would do something a little bit different for this particular video. And I'll come back later on. I do have some thrift finds to show you that, are they all vintage? Yeah, they're all vintage. Vintage thrift find. Like I keep mentioning, I'm trying to narrow down, and vintage is becoming kind of the focus of my thrifting as of late, unless I find something really awesome that I liked. But anyway, I thought in this video that I would do what I think are the top, or the 5 things that everyone, the top 5 vintage things that everyone should have in their closet. I'm sorry, my glasses are really nasty. I can't see. I can't see with them off either. But let's see, that's better. Anyway, the 5 things that I think every woman, young woman, whatever the case may be, needs in their closet. And they should still be fairly easy to find. You just have to look for them, one. And the most important thing I think too is you have to be patient. Particularly for vintage items, I'm always saying that they're getting harder to find, but they're not impossible to find in the thrift store. And so 1, look. 2, be patient, and when you see it, grab it, unless it's something that's really out there. And I've done that. I've seen vintage things and gone, you know, and not been real impressed with it and put it back for hopefully somebody else to enjoy. But if it's something that you really like and it's vintage, you know, especially in a thrift store, you know, don't think about it. Don't think, well, I'll come back. Because more than likely, if you think about it and come back, it's not going to be there. Anyway, as I was saying, I got off topic. I wanted to do a video about the top 5 things that I think everyone, whether you're heavy into vintage like I am, or whether you're just starting out, or whether you just kind of want to add something unusual to your wardrobe, I think vintage pieces are the way to go. Because 1, they're not manufacturing a lot of this stuff anymore. Definitely not. Particularly, you know, stuff back from the 70s, 60s, 50s, and so forth. Backwards, you're not going to find, companies are not manufacturing those anymore. So, you're more than likely going to have a one-of-a-kind piece. If you're not going to have a one-of-a-kind piece, there honestly aren't going to be that many pieces, so you're not going to meet yourself walking down the street, which is one of my peeves. I've always been like that. I've always not wanted to, if I saw somebody wearing what I had on, I didn't wear it anymore. But anyway, let's get to it. Here's the first thing I think every person should have in their closet: a vintage handbag. I know this one's looking kind of messy. It needs to be cleaned. The leather's kind of dusty and stuff. But this is a great handbag. It's unusual. You know you're not going to find this. You're going to, you know, you find vintage inspired stuff, but they're not of the quality. They're not, you know, vintage, not vintage inspired, vintage, straight up vintage. And you know it when you see it. You know this is a vintage handbag. You know, and you know, some of the higher end designers are getting really good where you have to look really close. This one, actually the lining disintegrated. It's disintegrating on it in the pocket. It's all gone, but the purse itself, it's still got that. It's still a great purse, even though this pocket has disintegrated on it. It's just a great bag. Sorry, I gotta bend down. This one as well. This is a great handbag, unusual, vintage piece. Yeah, you know, unusual stuff that you know, this is make a great evening bag. If you're going someplace formal, you know, it's big, but it's not huge, and it's got an elegant feel to it. And the next thing is a vintage hat. I mean, we know, according to the runways, hats are all the rage. Vintage hats. They're just feminine. I mean, they just are. You know, this one is from the Paris boutique, so it's French. You know, it's elegant. You know, just very pretty. And that's the bow goes on the side, and it's got a wide brim, and it's pleated, and it's just unusual. And then you've got your typical red felt one the same way. And then a vintage top. My all-time favorites, turtlenecks that zipper in the back. I like them for the fit, particularly in the neck and in the body. They're fitted, but they're not boxy, and they will hold their shape a little bit better. I've gotten rid of tons of turtlenecks that I like, but as you wash them, they stretch. Those have kind of a poly blend, so that's always nice. Cotton is cool, but poly blends are good too, because then they're more likely to hold their shape. Because you know, jeans, the more you wear them, the softer they get, the more the cotton stretches, and they're going to be bigger. But a poly blend is always a little bit better. Another top, just different with the embroidery down the front, or with the skirt in the summertime, or under a cardigan in the winter, you know. Cocktail dress, vintage cocktail dress, you definitely know, or vintage gown, you definitely know you're not going to meet yourself. I like this one. I have others, but that, let me gently lay this down. That was number 2, 3, 4. Is that 4? Let's see. Purses, hats, shirt, cocktail dress. I said 5 things. I think I've got 6. 6 things. Okay. So anyway, the next thing is if you can find a vintage skirt. Now this is wool, because it is wintertime. Fully lined, great cut, sort of A-lined-esque with a belt. It has pockets. Just really cool heather gray wool. And then the 6th thing, and my favorite thing, that I think if you can't get any of these, go for my favorite thing that I collect. I collect these, and these are all from my collection, and I've got some new ones. In fact, one of these is a new one that I'm planning on wearing. But a coat, a statement coat, a vintage statement coat. Nothing jazzes up a cold winter day more than a vintage coat. A lot of the coats nowadays are coming in black and brown, and they're all just kind of ordinary. They don't, you know, and wintertime's a dreary time of the year. So a great coat, to me anyway, even though winter is my favorite time, makes wintertime a little bit more bearable. So if you can find a vintage coat, grab it. Got this one, this leather fringe. This is so cool. The lining is missing out of it. It had another lining in it. And I got this, I think last year, from $9.90 at the Village Thrift. You can see I still have the tag attached. I need to send it. I'm contemplating whether I'm going to send it to the cleaners or not. I don't know. Suede is very hard to clean. It's expensive to clean. And this coat is in really great shape. But it has this 70s, or 60s, 70s hippie vibe to it, with the fringe here, and then the fringe across the back, and you know, on the sleeves. It's just a cool jacket. So it makes for fun, and you know this is a conversation starter. And then there's this one, faux fur, leopard print. I love the ivory buttons. This is one of my favorite coats, and I've had this for a few years. And every year I look forward to wearing it, and every year people compliment me on my coat. I just think a great coat. And then this is my favorite one too, is this great maxi. It's a maxi coat, very long. It's just above my ankles, very warm, you know, very standout. I wore this coat in the fashion capital of the U.S., New York, last fall, and I got so many compliments on this coat. It just does. It stands out, you know. And I wore it with jeans a lot, and so even with jeans, a great coat can make an outfit, make an ordinary pair of jeans and a turtleneck something great. That's pretty much it. My top 6 things. So we said a vintage handbag, a vintage hat, a vintage top, whether it be a turtleneck, short sleeve, whatever, vintage top, vintage cocktail dress or gown. You know, it's always, periodically, you always have to go to some formal occasion. And a vintage coat. And they're all going to be fairly inexpensive, particularly if you can find them in a thrift store. If you go on Etsy, you know, like anything else when you go shopping, or eBay, like anything else, you set up a budget, how much you're going to, maximum you're going to spend. I say for like a cocktail dress, I'm not going to spend more than $100, which is probably what I would actually spend if I were going to, you know, Macy's, or I know you can't hardly get a cocktail dress at Macy's for $100, but you understand what I'm saying. That would be my same amount that I would spend if I were going to the mall to get a cocktail dress, or going to the mall to get a coat. You know, I mean, I've got some of these coats for like $20. You can't get a coat at the mall for $20. Handbags for $5. You can't get a handbag. Even at Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls, and I go there too. You know, you can get a handbag for $20, but it's usually some kind of leathery, cheap looking thing, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be faux leather and it looks faux leather kind of stuff. So not only are vintage items a great way to jazz up your wardrobe, but if you can thrift them, that's even better. It stretches your budget. You get a good quality item that's been around for 40, 50, 60 years. You know it's good if it's going to do that, stand around that long. It's a good item. And it's a good investment. You know, eventually, if you get tired of it, you can always sell it on Etsy to somebody else, or eBay. Definitely, probably for a profit. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Those are my 6 things that I think vintage items that everybody should have in their closet. If you have any questions or comments, please post them at the bottom, and I will see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.